What's up, everybody, and welcome to the 90s First Podcasting Network. If you would like to connect with us, we are on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at the 90s First. And finally, if you would like to support us monetarily, we have a Patreon. Head on over to patreon.com/the 90s First to show general support for as little as $1 a month. So whether you're listening to the 90s First show or Test Your Might, Joe and I would like to thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We hope that you have a blessed day. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the 90s First show. We take a look at some 90s content and some stuff that is, whatever we want to talk about, really. My name is Mike, and I am with my co-host, Jelly. How you doing today, Jelly?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing?
All right, been a wild and crazy afternoon so far, and yeah.
We're just going to continue that right into this podcast.
Yeah, and then Justin, how you doing today, Justin?
I'm doing great. I am ready. I'm already got some goosebumps going.
Well, everybody, we are the 90s First Podcasting Network. You can follow us at all the socials at the 90s First. As well as if you're watching us on YouTube, please like, comment, and subscribe. Specifically, that subscribe button. Hit the bell notification if you want any alerts from us when we do upload. We are on the road to 100 subscribers, so we could get that custom link for our channel. So please, would greatly appreciate your help. So without further ado, let's get into a little bit more housekeeping. If you're listening to us right now, this released on a Friday and Sunday, Halloween, October 31st. We should have another special episode on Halloween, the movies. We'll see. We are insanely busy dads during the day and during the night as well. So if we do not get that episode out, we will be sure to try to get it out next week sometime. And two of them. So Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers, Halloween H2O, and then also the new Halloween Kills. So definitely look forward to that episode. It's coming out soon. We hope on Halloween, but if not, we'll get it out to you as soon as we can. Then as well as next week, we'll have a new episode of Test Your Might. So podcast, so make sure to tune into that. Justin and I recorded a little bit of a news update the other day, so go check out that episode as well, either on our YouTube or listening platforms. Well, without further ado, we thought we would do a spooky kind of a themed episode today, so we each watched something from the 90s that is a little bit more spooky, Halloween themed, a little bit more on the family friendly side, because obviously we are doing we're doing a horror icon in Michael Myers in the next episode. So we wanted to get out a kind of like a fun holiday one here today. So we're going to be a little spooky here today. And so each of us brought a little bit of 90s spooky content. And so Jelly, we're going to swing it over to you. Jelly, what did you bring to the table to chat about? Spook us.
The main one was not spooky at all, but Justin's got he's actually got it there in frame with him. It's Hocus Pocus. It is not a scary film. It's on VHS. Get out of here. If you're watching on YouTube, that is a relic, an icon of history. But yeah, it's Hocus Pocus, and I have feelings about this movie. So when I was younger, it was a movie that my older siblings liked, and it was a movie that my parents enjoyed, and my parents' friends enjoyed, and I was just like on it. It was really, really It was one of those films. As an adult, I understand why they liked it. I get it. It makes sense to me now. Having kids of my own, I don't think I'd let my son watch it yet. I probably watched it for the first time when I was probably about his age, 8, 9. And it's inappropriate. Just coming out with that right now. It is an inappropriate movie. There are some things that happen that are very suggestive. Sarah Jessica Parker's character, Sarah, makes some, like, her mannerisms are very adult. The nicest way to put it. It's crazy. Like the things that you don't notice when you're young, and
Oh yeah, they go right over your head.
Oh, I didn't notice any of these things. And yeah, as an adult now, I'm watching this and I'm like, oh my gosh, all the innuendos, all the suggestive humor, all the suggestive things and mannerisms they have. Blown away. It's much better now as an adult. Like, I actually enjoyed it. So I watched it last night and it was good. It was an enjoyable experience watching the movie. And it is not spooky or scary. I would recommend watching it, but not with children. Like, I'm thinking preteens probably okay. So if your kid's in middle school or above, then yeah. But if your kid's in elementary school, no. Just a hard pass on that one. They need to be a little older. And I don't know what the rating is on it, honestly. Because even such thing anymore?
PG.
Is it PG?
PG.
Okay, there's curse words. There's sexual innuendo.
It's old school PG though. Old school.
Old school PG. Yeah.
I approve of that rating, and I think for our time it was appropriate. Again, it goes over kids' heads because I don't remember any of that, and but it's such a good movie. It is really good, and I was very impressed. So yeah, that's the first one I'm bringing to the table. But yeah, have you got? I mean, obviously, Justin, you've seen it, you have it, you own it. Mike, I know you haven't seen it yet because we talked about this.
Yeah, I haven't seen it like fully through. I've seen bits and pieces, with it showing up on like ABC Family back in the day during the the month of October. But yeah, I haven't really seen it. It also hasn't been a movie that is just like I want to go out of my way to see as well. So maybe one of these days. I know it's one of Justin's like favorite, Halloween themed movies. So I should probably give it a shot.
Yes, I highly recommend. And listeners, viewers, if you guys can see me and hear me, I recommend. Please watch it. Please, you will enjoy it. Just don't watch it with young kids, and you're golden.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will legitly go get in my car and come up there to give you a viewing of this movie, because it is my top of Halloween kids movies, kids/adult movies, and I think the story holds up well and the visuals hold up well, and I can see why they're making a sequel coming soon.
Yeah, with the original cast coming back too, right?
Also true. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely be doing a 90s content related thing to that. So
heck yeah.
Anything else? Jelly, you said you said you had a couple of, or maybe just another thing?
So there are a couple that I watched. Casper, I watched recently. My son's a big fan of it. That one is far more family appropriate. There are, again, it's 90s. So obviously you're here on the 90s first, and you understand that this is 90s oriented. It was different back then. It was better in my opinion. Just with a grain of salt though. So 90s has some things about it that today maybe wouldn't fly as much. But Casper, another super good one. And I'll leave it at that. But yeah, Casper, super good. Hocus Pocus, better than I remembered.
I was thinking about bringing Casper to talk about, but I could not find it on any like streaming service. Like it's
you got to buy it.
But anyway, Justin, you gave us a little sneak peek at what you're going to be talking about, and actually, I think you're wearing a shirt.
Is it on your shirt?
So
for viewers, for viewers and listeners, beware, you're in for a scare. I grew up with Scholastic Book Club, and to take you way back, I had a subscription through my parents growing up for the Goosebump books, and this is actually, I brought it here, my first issue of the first book for the Goosebump series, but that's not my favorite.
Listeners, my favorite held up Welcome to the Dead House.
Yes, Welcome to Dead House was it. My favorite is on my shirt, and is the episode that I watched, which is One Day in Horrorland. One of the best episodes I've ever watched. Welcome to Horrorland. And it does not hold up visually. Obviously, it was a TV show. for kids, but the story and the book really held up with me. Going to an amusement park of horrors and seeing scary things happen to this family that just drives up, kind of like a National Lampoon's kind of thing going on, and it's good. I've always loved Goosebumps. There was Are You Afraid of the Dark in the '90s as well, which didn't hit as much for me, but Goosebumps did. And R.L. Stine, the books to the show, great. And now they're making movies now, so I'm down.
Yeah, I think you kind of hit it the nail on the head. Is that R.L. Stine created such a good foundation in his books that translated well to a TV show. And so I remember watching Goosebumps all the time, and Justin's going to say ew, but I loved The Night at Terror Tower as one of the episodes. It's literally the third and fourth episode in the series. What, did you never watch them, Jelly?
So I watched one Goosebumps. It was the one where they put the mask on and it gets stuck on their face.
That's
you know
episode
what I'm
one.
talking
The
about?
Haunted Mask with
Oh,
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It's the only TV show, movie, whatever that I remember giving me a nightmare, and then I never watched or read the book.
Mary Beth.
Never. The mask. So I already have like this major fear of claustrophobia. So the idea of a mask getting stuck on my face, that did it for me. So yeah, I saw that one. Was it an episode or a movie? Whatever it was, I saw that one. That was it. And that turned me off Goosebumps forever. And probably has a lot to do with the fact that I don't like scary things, because a horrible experience, terrible nightmare that I remember to this day. And I was way too young, to be fair. So it was whenever it first came out. I was probably like 7 or 8. And it scared me. So I do not have Goosebumps.
The Haunted Mask was a 2-part episode, just like The Night in Terror Tower and just like One Day in Horrorland, where they just 1 week you got the first half, next week you got the second half. And
to be fair, I think that was the majority of their episodes. I think all of them were part 1s and part 2s. So
yeah, they released them on VHSs as well, and they were green VHS tapes, and
that's what I watched it on.
Yeah,
because we watched the whole thing, part 1 and 2 together.
Now, earlier this week, if you listen, guys, I did talk about Goosebumps briefly, about a choose your own ending kind of thing. And I brought one of the books that I have that is choose your own ending as well. Over 20 different endings. And it's just like, turn to page this if you choose to do this, turn to page that if you want to do that. And no cheating going back, obviously, to read what happens. And it makes a book as a kid to choose what story takes place.
Yeah,
that's great. R.L. Stine did it right.
The video games for reading.
I mean, choose your own adventure books were around well before video games.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, Goosebumps, great stuff. Justin, how is the new movie? Like
the Gnome movie? So I watched both the new movies without my daughter, because I watched the first one by myself, and I was like, I don't know if the second one is good either for her. Little scary, definitely riding the edge for scariness for kids. Just the doll alone, just the Night of the Living Dummy guy, he is creepy enough to give you nightmares as a kid.
Really? Yeah.
But the stories hold up. They have a lot of nods. It kind of reminds me of, we're bringing it back to Ready Player One, but it brings me back to like all the different books and the entire franchise being included in a movie, which is kind of overload, but also you get to see those nods to your favorite characters, and it's nice to see that in the movie.
But it's not like product placement. Like that's where the difference between like a Goosebumps versus Space Jam. Yeah,
yeah, it's nostalgia that is meant to be in there and meant to give you nods and those feels from when you grew up, and knowing, oh, that's the character from that episode from a long time ago. There's the Haunted Mask. There's the Night of the Living Dummy. It's giving you those feels from when you grew up and read the books or watched the show.
All right. Jelly loves Goosebumps. He's gonna binge the
I would
seasons.
probably go back now and be fine, but
Netflix.
no, I remember too well the feelings and the emotions and everything that happened because I was at a friend's house when this happened. I didn't watch this in my own house, so I had a nightmare at a friend's house where I woke up and had to deal with that embarrassment. It was just it was a thing. Obviously, his family is wonderful and loving and kind, and they treated me super well. They were just, it was my best friend at the time, so they treated me like a son, and so like they were cool about it. But it was just very embarrassing, and scary, and
Yeah.
I still remember it. Yeah, it's crazy. Like as soon as you said it, I was like, and as soon as you sat down, I saw your Goosebumps shirt, like flashbacks. It's like, oh my god, Goosebumps.
Well, for viewers and Jelly alike, the first 5, I believe, seasons are on Netflix streaming now, so you can go and watch it there if you're interested. I wouldn't recommend. I'd watch a few episodes first before bringing your kids in, and see if it swings your way. It does. It hasn't aged well. I'm warning you now, but it does hold good stories and little creepy night campfire stories to listen to. So it's good.
And then speaking of that, Jelly, and maybe Justin can answer. Hocus Pocus on Disney Plus. Is it?
Yes,
Disney?
Disney Plus. Yeah.
So,
And it's in 4K, I believe. It
It got released with. It literally got released with the 4K version when they released it on disc.
Yeah.
So it's on there.
Visuals great. Honestly, real talk, the witches flying brooms in Hocus Pocus was better than Harry Potter flying brooms in Harry Potter. Like, come at me. I don't
Can
care.
I write this down? I gotta mark this on the calendar. Hold up. Jelly just compared something to Harry Potter and said it was better.
I am a huge fan of the books. The movies leave something to be desired. They should have talked to the director of Hocus Pocus and figured out how they did it because, I was more impressed with that than any of the Harry Potter films and the brooms, which I think was only 2 or 3.
What about the vacuum cleaner?
The vacuum cleaner was nice, and then I believe Sarah Jessica Parker rides a mop at one point. So it's fine. Comparable. Words are hard. But
that's
how about you, Mike?
That's how I get to work. A broom.
I'm gonna try a vacuum cleaner today.
How about you, Mike? What'd you bring to the table today?
So Justin texted me earlier in the week. Was like, I'm bringing Goosebumps, and I was like, ooh, maybe I'll watch a couple episodes of that. And so I did watch the first episode of The Night at Terror Tower. Didn't finish it, but yeah, I mean, like, it thoroughly enjoyed my time watching Goosebumps. Like, even though it doesn't hold up, it's certainly still fun. But I just did a quick Google search and was like 90s Halloween themed movies. One popped up that I just had to watch and had to rewatch and had to talk to you guys about it because a lot of these movies growing up were some of my favorites. Let's be clear, they're not good, but they were extremely fun. And what I'm bringing to the table is Ernest Scared Stupid.
Yes. Dude, he had such good films. I loved those films.
Oh, yeah.
So the Ernest movies, like, I gotta be fair to Ernest. I honestly think he's a really good actor. Like, the fact that he can keep that character just solid and like also like switch between characters throughout the whole film, like it's good acting skills. And they might not be the best movies, but they're certainly fun. And so Ernest Scared Stupid is definitely my favorite of the Ernest series. And so I just had to bring it. Now, really quickly before I forget, you could find Ernest Scared Stupid on YouTube. Just YouTube it. The full movie's there, so you could find it.
Nice.
And yeah, it's just a lot of fun. Basically, the story, if you guys have never heard of it, the story is that Ernest is a part of a long line of descendants that originally trapped this troll. And this troll could turn kids into wooden dolls to become more powerful. so Ernest's great ancestor or whatnot put this troll in the trap and set a spell on the troll, saying that the only way that this troll can be revived again or awoken is through the bloodline of Ernest. And so Ernest, obviously he's stupid. That's why that's why it's called Scared Stupid. He sorry, I shouldn't be that mean. He's a dork, right? You know, Ernest is a dork in these movies.
He's a country bumpkin.
Yeah, he's a country bumpkin, and I'm pretty sure they call him. And so basically he just he awakens this troll, and then hijinks ensue with him trying to catch the troll. And lo and behold, the story is that the trolls do not like milk. And milk actually kills the trolls. So
a bit lactose intolerant. I feel them. I get it.
At the end of the movie, you know, these kids figure out that milk is the key, and so they literally rob a grocery store. A bunch of kids rob a grocery store full of all the lactose that they could find. Nice. They go back home, they get all their super soakers, and they put milk in their super soakers, and they bring it to the final fight against the trolls. All the meanwhile, Ernest is just, once again, I think there's a lot of funny moments. It's actually kind of an interesting story. Certainly, it's a kids movie, and it's a lot of fun. And so I think it's always worth to watch some of these Ernest films. So, Joe, you seem to be a little bit in a nostalgic mood right now. Do you remember Ernest Scared Stupid?
Yeah, I love the Ernest films. So my favorite was the Christmas one. But the Halloween one was great. Scared Stupid was fantastic. I really love all of them. That's like right up my alley for humor. It's total, like, it's absolutely dumb humor. It's slapstick comedy. It's the stuff that you can feel good about laughing at. And it's, you know, he is the butt of every one of his jokes. Like the entire film, like Ernest is the butt of the joke, and we all get to know it. And then like he's not in on it, so it's fun for us because he's just trying to do things and failing the whole time. I love the Ernest films. This one was good. I don't remember it as well as the Christmas one, but honestly, they all just kind of run together because it's the same humor throughout all of them. I absolutely recommend Ernest movies. Like if you're into funny, like, then it will work for you because they're just funny. They're just good movies. But yeah, I love the Ernest films. I'm looking through the catalog of them and like just remember it's bringing up memories. Yeah, just bringing up memories. And yeah, I mean, and I believe he passed away, Jim Varney. But yeah, Ernest in the Army, I remember. Ernest Goes to School. Ernest Goes to Africa.
Ernest in the Army.
There's so many of them, and they're so good.
They're so fun.
It's like
Doug. Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know. I was gonna say it's like the that style of comedy is what we get from like Hot Rod and those style of films. Would be like more modern take on them. But I
was gonna say Mr. Bean.
Mr. Bean, yeah. But I think that Ernest does it better, in my opinion. Like it's just it doesn't have to go raunchy to be funny, and I feel like a lot of the newer ones, that's where they have to take it. But Ernest is just so it's just so dumb that it's funny. It's the most dumb funny thing, and it's perfect.
Justin, what do you got on that?
Honestly, Jelly hit it right on the head of the nail, because it's like Ernest naturally had an ability to play that role, and it suited him so well that it looked natural. It didn't even look like he was acting half the time. He was just playing it and making it funnier than it could have been. And I enjoy those movies very much, especially Ernest Goes to the Army. That was one of my tops. The Christmas one and the Halloween one were good. But they do mesh together. A lot of the humor is very similar, but the stories are unique, and they are kids' movies, and they hold up. You know, maybe not the visuals are that great, but the jokes still hold up because it's all revolving around Ernest and his hijinks, and I enjoyed those movies for sure.
I think what's crazy about Scared Stupid is that the troll itself, like he looks like scary. Like it still does kind of hold up, his costume, like, and the fact that like throughout his scenes, like he's like showing some mucus all over his like nose and stuff. And, like it's just really, really cool. And this troll is like super powerful, right? Like he could just breathe and like send Ernest. And like, I love those movies that subvert your comedy expectations of like what physics are. Like, first of all, Rimshot, his dog, during a scene where he's fighting the troll, Rimshot is literally driving the truck. And then on top of it, like Ernest also gets run over in that very scene. Like, and it's like, how are you alive? And it's just so funny. Like, I certainly recommend Scared Stupid and like all the other stuff. Scared Stupid is definitely the tops of mine. So yeah, really enjoyed my watching that again. Just like extremely funny, extremely dumb, and it's just a feel good movie, you know. And so yeah, that's all we had for our spooky episode. We do have a little bit of 90s trivia if Jelly is going to get prepared, but going to let you in on a little bit of content that I am planning kind of behind the scenes here. And unfortunately, Jelly, a lot of them are, or at least one or two of them are horror based. So I don't know if you're going to like them. But I Know What You Did Last Summer is a show that just recently got released on Amazon Prime. So they're doing, originally that was a 90s horror film. So that, and then
I've already watched part of it.
Yeah, Jelly has. So yeah,
I will not be watching more of it.
He probably won't be joining that episode, but there is one episode that I know he will be joining, and we will be reviewing The Matrix. So the original Matrix, which was a 90s show, and then we'll probably watch the whole series, even though the second two in the trilogy weren't.
Don't do that. They were good.
No, but
Reloaded is my favorite. So
we'll still the first one is oh my goodness, blasphemy.
No, it's definitely Reloaded.
And then we'll review the newest one as well that is coming out. And then another piece that we're planning on doing is, I know we've talked about the original Scream before on the show, but there is a new Scream movie coming out in January. So we do. So yeah, stay tuned. There's a lot of stuff coming in down the pipeline, as well as continue to stay tuned to our Test Your Might series as well, as we have our regular video game debate hijinks. So yeah, so let's get into a little bit of 90s trivia. Jelly, what do you got for us?
All right, this is a hard one. This is I don't know this one. Orbits was great last episode. If you don't know those are, go back, listen, and if you want, you can watch the video. I even put it in there. But this is the math one. 90s math. Are you ready?
Yeah.
What is the number of weddings Hugh Grant and Andy McDowell's characters attended, plus the number of funerals attended? It's the same number of films, apparently. I have no idea. I'm going to go with 6 because it's an even number, and it has to be even.
I have no clue. Like, what movies are they even referencing?
It's a good question. Well, Hugh Grant was huge in the 90s, and so
can we go with whoever's close? Like Price is Right?
Okay.
I like that. Or we're all wrong at the end, but
I'm gonna go with 11.
It can't be that, but let's pick a.
I'm gonna go with 12.
It has to be. It's the same number of films. 12, 11, 6.
What is it?
It's 5.
Oh, no one gets a point. We all broke the bank.
Oh man, that's hilarious. We don't, there are some 90s stuff that we just don't know, guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like we
There's
were
a lot
also
of 90s
kids in the 90s. So
There's a lot of 90s stuff that I don't know.
yeah. Anyway, we don't mention it often, but to close out the show, if you do want to support us in any monetary way, we do have a Patreon. Check that out. We have different tiers, and all those tiers will show are just general support. So
Absolutely. All the tiers are available with the same content. So support us at whatever amount you like. If you like what we do here, support us more. If you only like us a little bit, support us a little bit. If you don't like us at all, support us. You hate support us if you want. I'm cool with that too.
yeah. But yeah, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts and let us know how we're doing. And follow us at all the social medias at the 90s First. And then as well as hit that subscribe button so we could get our custom link. We're on the road to 100 subs. Anyway, for Jelly, for Justin, my name is Mike. This is the 90s First show, and we are out.
Bye, everyone.
Have a scary day.